Welcome back to the Wondered Bliss Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Faulkner. I'm an artist, poet, and a recovering fool who has made all kinds of mistakes in my life and suffered many consequences because of them. But I'm tired of being a little shit, and I'm trying to turn things around. I'm trying to be a force of good in the world as best I can. Because I know a lot of other people are floating around, living quite the same life that I was, or at least in a somewhat similar way, just kind of feeling lost and broken. And if there's anything I can do to help, I'm here. And I want to do that because I know how bad it can be. And I'll tell you what, it's not fun. But there are a few things I've learned, a few things that I can share that might do you some good. So here I am trying to do just that. I'd like this show to turn into an interview show with all kinds of interesting people because everybody has something to share. Everybody has a wealth of knowledge and specialty that they're amazing in that other people don't. And if we all learn from each other, then we're all growing, you know? But for now, it's just me. But I'm using this as a chance to promote my book that I released. It's called What Struggle Brings. It's a book of my art, poetry, and prose. Everything was written, designed, illustrated, all by me. My whole heart and soul was put into this thing. And I kind of fell into it. I didn't plan on creating a book. I just kind of started to write because that's what I knew how to do. And started to get my thoughts out of my head and onto paper. And that was a huge help to me. A huge help. And I started to realize how powerful these poems were and everything that they had done for me. And I decided to put it all together in a interesting and cool way. So that hopefully they might do the same for you if you're going through it. So if you're interested, go ahead and get yourself a copy. If you'd like to support me, I'd greatly, greatly appreciate it. But you can find it on Amazon. If you Google the title, you can find it. I think Barnes & Noble online has it. Several other places do. I'll put some links down in the description. I'd greatly appreciate it if you do. And you can follow along with poetry. I'm going through poem by poem right now. Just kind of talking about all the different things that maybe I was going through and maybe what I've learned as I've found my way back out of it, you know. But it's the 10th episode, so we're at the 10th poem in the book. And we're still in the dark section. It's broken up into 3 sections, the dark, the haze, and the light. So all of these in the beginning are pretty heavy still, but that's okay. It's a side of life and a side of us that we're often afraid to talk about. We often shy away from and try to avoid, but we shouldn't. It's a real part. And if you just avoid it, you'll never learn how to deal with it. And that's where I was for a long time. So let's talk about it, eh? I'll go ahead and get into this poem here. This one is called Aggravated. Excuse me. Look, I don't know where I've been going, but I'm going still. But I've been suffering, I'm buffering, struggling. Thought I might kill myself. But I haven't. I'm breathing, my heart's still beating. If I cut my skin, I'm bleeding. But fuck me, these thoughts repeat. So I've been barely hanging on. But I've been strong and I've been woke. So I've been well, but I've been broke. So I'm escaping in this smoke that I'm inhaling, coughing, choking on. I'm higher than I'm showing. But I'm lower than I'm leading on. I'm moments from imploding. But that's really nothing new. I'm in hell and I've been through it. I've discovered who I am. I fucking hate him. I'm a screw up. I'm another piece of shit who's going nowhere. I'm a loser. There's this doubt inside of me that I can't shake, and it's consuming every part of me that used to mean something. It's left me empty. I'm trying to find my place, but it's vacant. I've felt abandoned lately. I've been separating myself from the crowds because they agitate me. I've been fading back into the shadows. I've been contemplating life and all its battles. They're tragic, but somehow captivating. I just can't escape this mental state, and shit, I'm tired of waiting. good won't come around. You've got to make it, but I'm lacking patience, lacking training. I need to relax, but fuck, I'm aggravated. So that when I toned it down a little bit in my presentation, I wrote it essentially as if I'm yelling. Because everything in here was true. On the exterior, I was always putting on a front for everybody, as if I was happy and fine, carefree in the world. But inside, I was walking around with this weight and this kind of burning fire of disdain for life. I was lost, and I was making every wrong decision. And I know there's a lot of other people out there who feel the same, who don't know who and what they are. Just running around, trying to find themselves, but not knowing how or what to do. And it's a terrible place to be. And I talk about several different things in here. But as I've spent a lot of time with myself in this healing process, this is years in the making, I've discovered amongst all of my various problems and issues that I had with life, with the world, with other people, it all really stemmed down to just a lack of purpose that I had in life. That was my biggest problem. That was the thing that pained me above anything else. And I know that I'm not alone in that. I was raised very religious. And when I was about 15, I fell away from that hard. There was many issues with that religion. I explored many others, and there were many issues with those. And when I fell away and lost that, I lost all of my reason to be alive, really. I mean, I was raised with a very rigid framework of what to do, how to do it, what to expect from life, and what was expected of me. With an idea of what the purpose of all of this was and why we're here and why we do it all. Because life, although beautiful, is difficult in many, many ways. And when I lost that, I mean, why go do anything, right? I was running around. I mean, I decided to go and try to break all of the rules that I had ever been held to, all the standards. Decided to drink a lot, smoke a lot, run around as much as I could. Thinking that chasing after pleasure, because, it felt good, was somehow my reason. Kind of hedonistic lifestyle, pleasure seeking. And I know there's a lot of other people out there doing just the same. Let's party, let's have fun. YOLO, you only live once, So let's go live that life. But it only made things worse. There was moments of momentary highs and all kinds of pleasures along the way. Don't get me wrong, but you'll never find purpose in that. It will never be enough. If you do some drugs, you escape for a little while. All of a sudden, you build up some tolerances. You need to do more. And you need to do more. And you need to do more. And it's just an endless road that you'll find yourself on. And it doesn't solve a damn thing. So I was running from all these things, running from my past. And, I mean, it was more than just religion. I mean, my parents had been divorced. That did not go very well. I myself had my own relationships fall apart that I did not handle myself perfectly in by any means. They didn't handle themselves perfectly either. I had many trust issues, many problems. I wouldn't allow myself to get close to anybody because of it. And I was just finding myself lost with no reason, And it was getting to me. And I didn't know what to do. Talk about it here in the first little stanza, how I don't know where I've been going, but I'm going still. But I've been suffering, I'm buffering, struggling. Thought I might kill myself. And that right there, I can't tell you I was ever exactly suicidal. But I was probably about as close as you could be. Mainly just because, I had adopted a wholly secular and nihilistic perspective. There was no purpose for life. There was no purpose for me. And if I'm in this place where I'm not really happy, I'm not really finding any joy in any of the things that I'm doing anymore, I just have a negative framework that I'm looking at life through. Even the good, positive, fun things, they require effort. They require much of me. Why go do any of it if nothing matters? And that's where I was. And if you're there, fuck, you know how it feels. You won't find anything down that road worthwhile. You won't find reason thinking in that way. You just won't. But I was holding on. I was still doing my thing, still trying to escape, still pushing myself further and further down that road. Trying to escape, and it was just leading me nowhere. Talking later on how I'm escaping in the smoke that I'm inhaling, coughing, choking on. I'm higher than I'm showing, but I'm lower than I'm leading on. I'm moments from imploding. And that was true. I was getting high all the time. All day, every day for years. I've smoked enough weed in my life to never need to do it again. Sure, the feeling's nice, but I've given it up now. I went down some deep, dark rabbit holes there. I've got as high as I could get, so my mind would shut off, and, it always turns back on, I'll tell you that. And until you deal with your shit, nothing's going to change and nothing's going to improve. And the problem with that lifestyle, really, I talk about in that next stanza right after that. How I've discovered who I am. I fucking hate him. I'm a screw up. I'm another piece of shit who's going nowhere. I'm a loser. This lifestyle, trying to escape and making all these terrible decisions, ruining my health, ruining my relationships. It just, you find yourself hopeless. Each day is another reminder of why things are bad, another reason why you need to escape, another reason why you're not enough, and you need all these other things to try to make it right. And that cycle is just a constant reminder all the time that nothing is good and you need to escape. And each day is a failure. You see out in the world a bunch of people being happy, a bunch of people living, a bunch of people finding their purpose, and you don't have yours. And all of it's proof, I don't know, in my mind at the time, that I was a loser. That I wouldn't figure it out and that I wasn't good enough. I couldn't hold on to relationships anyway, even if I tried, so fuck it. I'm just going to give it all up. There was this doubt in me. And I know that I'm far from the only person who's experienced that. Had self-worth issues. And it's not good, especially when on top of that you're forming addictions, you're forming dependencies, and just further solidifying in your mind why you're not enough. It's not a fun place to be. It's not at all, and if you're there, I feel you. I get you. I understand it. But it's also not true. I hope you know that. And I hope you can hear me when I say that. It's not true. You are enough. You're not a failure. A quote that I heard the other day that I really liked, it's you've never failed until you quit. And that is, it's an interesting idea, and it really is true. Each day, although maybe you may be messing up, screwing up, until you quit, each day is a new day to try again. And that's a huge part. And I know, of course, when you're in this mindset and you're feeling hopeless, you feel as if nothing will ever change because nothing has changed. It's very difficult to realize that and understand it and believe it. And the unfortunate truth, and I know nobody wants to hear this when you're in that state, is that nothing will change until something changes. And that thing that changes is you and your behavior, your expectations. And it starts with your behavior. It really does. I didn't start to see changes until I started to change myself. I stopped running around. I actually ended up getting into a lovely relationship with a girl who slowed me down quite a lot. And it changed my expectations of relationships. We weren't rushing into anything, so it took my time to really get to know her, to learn how to trust her. And that was a huge thing for me. I had massive trust issues. But I started to change it. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. I stopped doing these things. My health started to improve. But the biggest thing overall, that was a massive part and piece, that really allowed me to give up some of those things like drinking and smoking, as I started to adopt a spiritual practice. And like I said, I have many issues, and to this day still have many issues with all of the world religions, all of the common ones. I think there are beautiful things in there that can bring you to the light. It can bring you to the good. There's also a lot of bullshit. A lot of them, if not all of the religions, have been used for means of control, social control, been used for means of acquiring massive amounts of wealth and power. And you can't avoid that history when you're looking at the formation of the churches today. And just among that, there's just a lot of fallacies and illogical thinking in all of them. Old religions, old ways of being and thinking. People who weren't privy to a lot of the knowledge we have today about the universe, the formation of the universe, how things work and function. So I personally can't believe any of those things in their entirety. However, I started to realize that maybe I had thrown the baby out with the bathwater. And I decided one day that I was going to give it an honest try again. I had spent enough time atheist, enough time angry, enough time trying to disprove the existence of God and spirit. And it obviously wasn't doing anything for me. So I decided that I'm going to try, but I'm going to give it an honest try. Barring all religions, all other things, I realized of all the yogis and great masters, if they all found their way to spirit through meditation, breathwork practices, I'm going to do it too. Until I tap in, if I do. And if I don't, then I've got my answer. But it requires an honest try. I had prayed plenty of times before I fell away. Even at different times when I had, moments of desperation. But you pray a couple times, you don't get the answer you're looking for, and then you cast it away. That's not an honest try. No, I dedicated myself months of daily meditation and breath work. And it took a few months for me to break down my walls and start to connect. And I'm convinced more now than ever that spirit is real. Life exists beyond the physical. It does. And if you don't believe me, give it an honest try. Your connection with God and Source, whatever exactly God is. Try. Every day. For months. If you do it every day for 6 months and you still haven't connected, then you have an answer. But if you're giving it an honest try, I guarantee you will. Because it's there. And that right there, opening back up to spirit, although I still have many questions that need to be answered, that was enough for me to find hope again. Find purpose enough again to try and explore. to look deeper than I had. I've been trying to answer all of these questions from the secular perspective, but you can't interpret spirit through your physical tools, your eyes, ears, your five senses. It's a non-physical experience. And you can only explore that through non-physical practice. Meditation, it's your consciousness, it's your thought. That's your connection to source. It's the feelings and emotions that you have. It's a very interesting thing. There's many questions there. We'll talk at length about it. I've delved deeply into this topic, and I think it's valuable information. I think it's valuable stuff, but we'll talk about it at length. I think there's some other poems that it might be a little more fitting. But that right there, I mean, if you're finding yourself in this place like I was, where you're rolling around without any purpose, do you have connection to source? Do you? If you don't, try. And if you do, try a little harder. The answers will come. And something that I realized too, because there's like the general purpose and meaning of life. And then there's your purpose in life. And once again, we'll talk about this more at length a different day. But as I started to explore these things, I started to realize who you are is your reason to be here. You're an individual with your own individual loves, passions, joys, interests, all of these things that you have zero control over whether or not you enjoy them, are interested in them, if you love them. You just do. Like I love to write and draw. I can't control whether or not I like it. I can control whether or not I do it. Whether or not I like it is not up to me. That was born in me, imbued in me, I believe, before we were born. That's your reason to live. The things that spark that joy in you, that's your reason. That's your purpose. To become the best version of that thing, to explore that fully. And it just so happens to be the thing that you would enjoy doing the most. So a lot of us are living lives that we really don't enjoy, that we hate. We're not doing the things that we love. And we wonder why we're unhappy. We wonder why we feel as if we're not living up to our greatest potential, because you're not. And we often avoid these things because we have self-worth issues. We don't think we're good enough. We've made all these mistakes. We don't think we're worthy. Fuck all that. All that's noise. And all of it's lies. You are enough. That's a promise. You are. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here. All it really takes is you trying again, and trying again until you get there. And when you start that path, I mean, it won't be easy. You're going to have to overcome all of these walls and everything you put up. Fuck this. Breaking down these barriers in my heart was fucking tough, guys. I'll tell you what. Writing the book, putting this together was a massive part, but it was more than just that. And it's all subtle shifts in your mind, but they're profound. And they require a lot of you. They require a shift in identity, a shift in your belief systems, in your expectations. Once you can do that, because it is a subtle thing, once you can start to expect better from yourself, because you're doing better things, you've changed your behavior, so now you have a reason to believe in yourself. It's not easy. And I know I can be a rambling mess sometimes, but hopefully some of this is good. It might sink in. It starts with your behavior, but it ends in your expectation. And that's where you'll find that purpose, is doing the things that you love, doing the things that you want to do. That's why you're here. So go do it. I plead with you, go do it. We need everybody to be pursuing that. All of the jobs, all of the needs and desires of people will be met. We're almost 8 billion strong in the world with individual passions, love, desires, wants, and needs. And if everybody is chasing after theirs, all of the roles will be filled. I could never see myself as an accountant. I was in business school for a little while, and it was my accounting class that made me drop out of that. And it was not for me. But there's other people who love it. And they may hate the idea of being an artist and a poet and a podcaster. They might hate that. And they would happily be an accountant. But if I forced my way through, got a CPA or some shit, I would be living in misery every day being an accountant. And if they force their way through because they have this expectation of themselves, of what is valuable, that they want to force themselves to be an artist, they're going to hate their lives. But if you lean into the things that you are, that you want to do, that makes you happy, then I get to live as an artist as I want to be. They get to be the accountant that they want to be. And this extends to all of the different professions, all of the different wants, needs, and desires. You have to lean into who you are. What is your soul asking, wanting, calling you to do? Do that and you'll find your purpose. I don't know. But what I do know is that once you have that purpose, oh fuck, all of these feelings that I've talked about in this poem, they'll evaporate. You'll have your reason. People will do incredible things if they have a why, if they have a reason. People will go to the end of the earth if they think it's for a good purpose. They will. We have so many examples of people doing the extraordinary because they believe that they could and that they should. So it isn't until you find yours that you'll do your amazing thing that you're sent here to do, that you're blessed with this chance to do. The thing that sparks more joy in you than anything else will. That's your purpose. So, if there's any advice that I could give, it would be to find that. I would say do some meditation and prayer. Connect with Source, God, whatever it is first. And then connect with your heart. The two together, when they're working together, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. Or whatever it is, fuck it. I don't know. I'll wrap it up there for now. We'll come back sometime in the next couple of days. I think I'm going to start ramping these up, doing more and more episodes. I'm trying to get better at public speaking, at presenting, at free-flowing my thoughts out of my mind. I've been trying not to prepare too heavily for these. Have it just be honest, raw thoughts. And I've felt very compelled to get better at this. And it's difficult to talk to myself in a room and to a camera, to an untold number of people. Triggers a lot of my fears and anxieties, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to try my best to get better at it because it's what I feel compelled to do. So, I'm going to be doing it. So, tune back in. Get yourself a copy of my book. I would greatly appreciate it. It would mean the world to me if you do. I love you forever.